Hi, it's Rachel Smith here, the Business Guru, and very warm welcome to this, the inspiring stories from amazing women that I have the very good fortune to work alongside, to support, and I just really wanted an opportunity for you to hear their stories, because every single woman that I work with in my business has this amazing, inspirational story. And what really works is when you start to share your story, that other people realise they're not alone in their struggles and challenges and actually growing a successful business. So this series of interviews is my opportunity to bring my amazing clients to you, so you can hear their inspirational stories and really gain some insight to the things that they've had to overcome and how they've overcome that. So you'll be walking away from this interview kind of feeling really inspired. You'll perhaps learn some new tools. You perhaps realise that you're not alone in your current situation, and that actually there are things that you can do. So just before I interview my client, Bridget, who's here today, she's actually here in person, so it's very exciting for us. I actually wanted to just spend a few moments introducing myself. I'm Rachel Smith, the Business Guru, in case you haven't come across me before, and I work with female business owners to grow their business and attract more clients into their business consistently. And the reason I do this is that when I started out on my journey, I had this passion and this belief about coaching and NLP, and I just went out into the world and was just like, yay, come on world, everyone's going to need this, it's going to be really easy to get out there. That was when social media was letting all your posts through, and there's all sorts of possibilities out there. And actually, in reality, I struggled for a long time to actually make my business work. And over the time, I have really learned what you need to do to increase your opportunities, to grow your business, and to attract clients consistently through the door. So the roller coaster ride that sometimes your business gives you, where you really sometimes and it just plummets to nothing, actually goes away, and you have this consistent flow of clients coming through the door. And when you need to ramp it up, you can, and when you're not looking to ramp it up, like I took the summer off to spend time with the children, you have the flexibility to do that. So I really support business owners to get comfortable in their business, to get confident, and to actually start to step up. And I've had this very great privilege of working with Bridget, my client, Bridget Karn, for a year now. And Bridget has got the most incredible story, and she's quite an unusual business owner. So this is why I started with Bridget, because I think you really love what she does, and you'll be really surprised at how she's taken something that's been a real passion, that's really kind of deep within her to be creative, and she's actually creating it into a successful business. So I'm going to turn the computer in a little while, because she's sat right next to me, and we're just going to have a chat and just talk about what Bridget's path to this has been. So I'm just going to do that now and introduce Bridget formally. So I'm just going to turn the computer around so you can see both of us there. Look, there we are, two ladies for the price of one. So basically, I met Bridget through my networking group, Winning Women, in January last year, and she was this really vibrant person. And when you got to talk to her, she had this really massive passion about her artwork. And actually, Bridget, because you sat here beside me, you may as well share with the audience what it is that you do, and how you came about to decide that you're going to take your kind of creative tools and brilliance and create it into a successful business. So if you could just share with us, who you are and how you got started, that'd be amazing.
Right. Start off with, I'm a mother of 2 teenage children, and I have a border collie. I'm also a carer for a 93-year-old lady who is my husband's great aunt. And the reason I've become the business person that I am is through a complete inability to deny the fact that I am a creative person. Story where it all began was when I was very young, and I always loved arts and crafts at school, And I realised at the age of 13, going 14, that art was incredibly important to me, because when it came to choosing my options, I purposely failed my biology exam because it was in the same option group as my art, and there's no way I was going to deny myself the possibility of doing art. So my parents weren't best pleased with me, but I knew that I'd done the right thing for me, and I did my art at O level and went on to do it at A level too. I had planned to go in Leeds to follow up on doing a foundation course after school, but unfortunately my dad's firm went bankrupt, and it changed all plans that we'd all sort of made initially, and I found myself getting a job in the Bank of Ireland in Leicestershire, and I worked there for 18 months and realised really within 12 months I was in the wrong place. And after 18 months, I handed my notice in, and I decided that I needed a job working with people, where I was actually gaining skills that were positive, working to the better of people, rather than feeling that I was holding control over people, which is what I felt the bank was doing. And I didn't feel happy or comfortable in that position. But what I found throughout that time was I was still doing drawings for people as presents, and still following interests in different arts and crafts. And I thought, well, I'm just going to have art as my hobby. That's what it's going to be. So I went into nursing, did my nursing qualification, and again, I was 2 years into my nursing, and I was doing presents for people, doing my art, paintings, and I just felt I couldn't deny the possibility of going on to art college. And I thought, well, if I qualify as a nurse, I've got the skills to be able to work and go to college. And again, I was incredibly fortunate that when I did qualify, I was offered a job immediately on the ward that I just finished working on as a student. And I explained to them that I was going to art college, and they said, well, you can be our bank nurse and work weekends or when holidays to fit in with you. And I was just so lucky that that happened like that. And I got onto the foundation course in Liverpool, where I'd done my nurse training, and did my art foundation course there. And then from there, I went on to Carmarthen in South Wales to do a HND in craft design. So I was following my dream. Eventually, I got there, and my plan was to go and study art therapy, thinking I would bring together my nursing and my art, because I did enjoy both, but my art was a predominant driver for me. So I went and did some voluntary work with a group called ArtLink, and got some experience from doing that. I planned my voyage to Canada, because I was going to go to Canada and study there. I had relatives there, and they knew courses that were really good, so that's what I was going to do. And I got to Canada, and I was there about 2 months, and I'd got all my papers, my education qualifications changed to go through the system there. And I discovered my mum had cancer, so I just didn't feel right being away from home, and brought myself back to the UK, back to Leeds, and found myself in a situation where my mum went through a treatment and everything, and I got a job back where I was working, and I got a job in St David's Hospital, so I was financially supporting myself. But I also found my husband as well at the same time, so it was kind of strange. Everything kind of happened together and brought me back to this place, and I knew that this was where I needed to be. Next thing I knew, I was married, had children, and I was going to York College, because I had to keep my hand in doing my arts and crafts. And so, York College for 6 years, doing evening classes. I joined the Northern Potters Association. I started pottery in my garden, and before I knew it, I had my own little business going on. It's more like a expensive hobby, really, to be honest with you. But it was the beginning of me doing something for me that could sell my work. I went to quite a lot of events, sold pieces through events, and then eventually got my work into the York Art Gallery. I was making ceramic jewellery at that point. And then, because it wasn't making loads of money, and because we had an opportunity at home, a lot of things again came up, and we decided that it was a good idea to put a log cabin on some land in our garden, and we to run it as a self-catering log cabin business. So we did that, and in order to do that, I didn't have the time to do ceramics anymore. So I decided that I had to keep my hand in somehow, and I set up a crafts group in our village for people who were like-minded, who wanted to come together and do their own thing, and share with each other ideas on how you can do arts and crafts and events that were going on. And at this event, after about 3 years we've been running, one of the ladies in my group decided that she wanted to teach people to felt, and I'd never done felting before. And she taught us how to felt. We did a few weeks of felting, and before I knew it, I was hooked. I just became a bit obsessed and wanted to try all sorts of things, picture making mostly, but there's so many ways you can use felt, 3D objects. I mean, there's handbags, scarves, hats, there's so many things you can do with felt. But it was the actual picture making, going back to my artistic roots, that I found myself being drawn to. And that's kind of how I came on board with Rachel, because I knew that it was something that I really wanted to take further. And so I joined Winning Women York to see if I could get an idea about how to go into business and how to actually become a businesswoman. And that's kind of where my story began with Rachel.
And what I love about that, when you shared it with us then, Bridget, is that it wasn't very straightforward, was it? And you didn't intend to open and run a business. And this is, you know, what I blog about, and this is what I talk to other people about all the time, is that I never intended to run a business. Nobody shows you in school how to run a business.
No.
So you come to this place where you go, actually, running a business makes total sense, because I get to do what I love. I get to set my own hours, get to manage the family, and it's going to give me complete financial freedom. It's going to be amazing. So you kind of set up, but nobody shows you how to run a business.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of this sort of thing going on in the media about whether or not business skills should be brought into schools, and there's various different initiatives. But you know, this is very much why I'm around, is to support people to make their dreams a reality. And I know that you're in the middle of your journey at the moment, aren't you? You know, there's been a lot of work, and you've been faced with a lot of challenges. So what are some of the challenges, Bridget, that you would like to share with the audience that have really been quite large obstacles for you to overcome in terms of from where you were to where you are now?
There's been a lot of challenges. The very first one was justifying that I could follow my heart and do something that I love doing, without feeling that I should be doing something more sensible. I had a part-time job as well, which was working locally, and actually it took me a while to realise that to commit myself to do my own business, I have to give that job up, which meant I had to give up on an income that I knew would be paying me. Investing in myself, that was another big one, because you do have to invest in yourself in, well, paying for everything for your business is one thing, but also investing in your own knowledge, going to a group and becoming part of a business group does cost, but there's also other things as well. It's kind of like you have to go on a journey to kind of like find out what is stopping you from going forward to being the best that you're being. And I found that there's quite a few disbeliefs I had connected with my sort of belief in money, and a few other things that I kind of was brought up believing that, you know, you should do what you do out of the goodness of your heart and not expect to get too much back, and be grateful for what you do get, and not to feel that actually, one of the big ones was actually being able to do my art and actually shout about it and be able to bring myself forward and to say, this is what I've done, this is what I'm proud of, and I really want you to be impressed with it and to enjoy it. And as kids, we're always told to stop showing off and not to shout about what you're doing because it's rude and it's not polite. And that was a big one for me to kind of get over that hurdle. On a more practical side of things, the children and Auntie Elsie, that was a really emotional one, because my children are teenagers now, they're 15 and 17, but they still have quite a lot of needs and requirements, demands, or whatever, of my time. And Auntie Elsie, I was a full-time carer for Auntie Elsie for 12 years, and it was only last year, with everything that happened, last year was a bit of a crazy year for me. My father died, and I was all over the place travelling, and we managed to get some carers in to look after Auntie Elsie while I was doing that. And the guilt that goes along with the fact that you're going to stop caring for somebody because you need to do your own thing. Now, the fact that it was my dad meant it was easier for me to get the carers in for that reason. But then when my dad died, to actually continue having the carers in so that I could do my own thing was a major, major guilt trip. And it took a lot of adjustments for both me and for Elsie. And when we got there, and everything was fine, but it was just one of those things that I had to deal with. That was a very big challenge. There probably are a few other challenges out there that I've probably not mentioned, but those are the ones that come directly to mind when I sort of think about what I've actually been through trying to get this working.
But what I mean, they're major challenges. You know, a lot of that is family stuff, isn't it? You know, you've got, like, you're on a journey, you're on a path to create this amazing business and to do more of what you love. But life happens, doesn't it? Like, really, you know, even the small stuff, like the kids coming in and still needing you, to the big stuff that goes on, but it's not derailed you. You kept going, and that was close to the inspirational bit for me, is that you've not been derailed by that.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know the journey I've been through, and you know the phone calls and conversations we've had, and you've been very supportive and helped me to kind of hold on. But it's one of those things that when you feel so fired up about something, I mean, when my dad got ill last year and I had to stop everything, that was a real priority moment of what is more important, being in Ireland and being there for my dad, or continuing my business. And I had to not cancel but postpone a few of the events that I'd actually planned, and people were brilliant. They were really understanding. But to me at that time, I felt like all the work I'd put into it was completely disappeared into thin air. And I really did question about whether or not I was doing the right thing.
So you've been faced with those crossroads a couple of times, haven't you?
Yeah.
So what's kept you, I mean, you talked about having the fire in your belly, so what kind of kept you going forward, even though you've been facing some of the, you know, biggest challenges that people face in their lives?
I have to say that what's kept me going forward is the support I've had from family, and particularly my husband Richard, and friends from the Business Grow group. It's been very supportive, and also people who actually believe in my work. It's been really interesting to see when I've kind of had these discussions, and they're like, well, you've got to try listening with it because your work is really good. And it's like, oh, that's really nice to know that you think that. And it's good. It's really good for you to get that kind of assurance that you're doing the right thing, not only from your own belief. And there's one thing that I keep telling myself, and that is, I do not want to get to old age and look back and say, I wonder if I tried.
Yeah, you don't want to be like Auntie Elsie, do you? Kind of sat there going, what if? And I think that was a big driver for me as well, because when I came to my business, my friend had just died unexpectedly. You know, the day that I walked into work, returning from maternity leave, I found out that my friend had died, and she was younger than me, and she was like, we were both working for this organisation where we knew it was really toxic, and it was really like, okay, this isn't good. And I knew if she knew what was coming for her, she would have still not stayed in that situation. And I felt like I needed to honour myself, but I needed to honour her as well, and just take life by its horns and just say, come on.
I think if we all thought we only had a year to live, what a different year we would have.
And you know, this is why you've been invited to this hangout, is because it's that, you know, it doesn't matter what's been thrown at you. Yes, you've dealt with it, and you know, things may have been taking a little bit longer than you would want, but you've kept going and you have grown. You know, in time you will look back and you will realise that actually 12 months ago you weren't ready, but now you are, because you've grown so much.
I have learned so much, and the stuff that I didn't know I needed to learn as well. I mean, being an artist and doing the job you do, making your work is one thing, but in this day and age, you have got to be a business person as well. The agents aren't out there that I presume they used to be. Even gallery owners, nobody's going to put themselves out there and on the line the same way you will do for your work. And my experience, I've had a few gallery owners, and they've all been really nice people, but you have to put your passion and actually make your own business work yourself. You can't rely on other people to do it for you.
And actually, why would you? Because the best person to represent your business is you.
Yeah.
So we do have to become business entrepreneurs, but it's quite fun as well, because once you get over some of those sticking blocks, you learn it fast, don't you?
Well, yeah, because you're so interested and you want to make it work.
Yeah. And you surround yourself, like you have, with other like-minded souls, so you can see that other people are in a similar position as yourself, and it's brilliant when you get that momentum.
Oh yeah, and you learn. I mean, it's really good. But the sharing thing that we've got going on with Business Bros Book is that when one person learns something new that really helps their business, they share it. You think, oh, I can use that. That's good.
Yeah, no, it is. It's brilliant. So in terms of the things that you have learned along the way, what have been some of your biggest learnings, Bridget, from everything that you've experienced in growing your business?
I kind of wrote a few things down here.
Brilliant.
Just to give me, there's quite a lot of things that I've learned. One, believe in what you're doing and be passionate and be genuine and authentic with people. Don't try and be what you think people want you to be, and be yourself. What I found as well, which is it's a bit like what we're doing here today, is that people actually buy your story. They buy your artwork, but they want your story as well. I spent yesterday up in North Yorkshire with a family who basically for their mother's 60th birthday, they booked me to come and do a craft day with them.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it was a really good day. And what was fantastic about the day is we all shared our stories about who we were, what we were doing, and it was about my story and how I got into doing what I was doing, and it got them all opened up, and they were talking about what they were doing, and it was really great. You could see the vibes going around the room. It was fantastic. It's almost they were talking about things that they hadn't really talked about in front of each other, and it was good. But it was a lovely experience, and from what I gather from talking to people is that your story is part of your work. And I mean, I put myself into my work. I'm inspired by my life and the experiences I have to make my work, and part of that is who I am and how I got there, and that's what people want to hear about.
Yeah.
So be genuine, be authentic, and do that. Don't wait for somebody to come along and offer you an opportunity. That's one thing that I've really learned. You have to create your own, and be prepared to put all the legwork in, because it is a lot of legwork to do to create your own events, but you get such a lot of fun out of doing it. It's really good fun. I'm trying to think, biggest learning. There's nothing to be gained by doubting.
Okay.
Yeah, that's definitely. Yeah, believe in the positives and don't focus on the negatives, because there will be negatives.
Yeah.
Things will come up, and it's too easy sometimes to think it's not right and it's not what's going to work out, or you feel that people might say something that you might interpret as being negative, but they didn't intend to be negative. And you're very sensitive about your work, and it can be very easy to be a little bit too sensitive, but you've got to be positive and take the positives and dwell on them. Don't dwell on the negatives.
Yeah.
It's wasted energy. Right, I think that's probably the top three.
I love that. So you've got be authentic, be yourself, share your story.
Yeah.
Keep positive,
absolutely,
beliefs, and create your own events, kind of take charge of your own business. And I see this all the time, where people give responsibility to other things. So it might be like a certain type of event that somebody else is running, or it might be social media, where you're not in the driving seat. But when you take control, it's very powerful, isn't it?
Yeah, and the other thing as well is it's taking control, but collaborating with other people is really strong. But you then, if you're in control, if you're in the driver's seat, as you say, you end up getting things done the way you want them to be done. Because it's too easy. I mean, I've been at plenty of events over the years and through my ceramics experiences, and things haven't been done quite the way I think they should have been done, particularly with advertising and getting people out there, because you've really got to push. And sometimes it's easier pushing when it's not about your own work. But I found that in those cases, I always felt like, I wish I'd got more involved and wish I'd done stuff. So actually being in charge and holding the reins is really good.
Yeah, you should love this new role. So Bridget, it's been lovely for you to come and share your story with us, and I just love the fact that you are enjoying getting out there and telling your story and sharing more with people, because you're right, absolutely, when you open that up to other people, it totally, like, it starts to tick inside them, like, yeah, that's why I'm doing this, that's similar to me.
Well, I know that what I've been through, there's going to be so many people out there experiencing similar things, and I would say keep going. Keep going.
Yeah. So, the lady who keeps going, how can people find out more about Bridget Karn, the felt artist?
All right. Well, currently I'm doing 3 exhibitions, and the first one is next week, next Saturday, 27th September, and that's going to be my launch of my solo career. And I will be at the Old Sun Inn in Colton, which is a gourmet pub, which has been exhibiting 4 of my pieces of work for the last year. And it's because of that support they've given me that I've decided to launch myself from there. And I have a whole day there, but it will be open to the public from 2:30 through to 5:30. And then I'm going to be at the Knitting Stitching Show down in Alexandra Palace in London. So that's another big one for me, going down south to the Big Smoke. That's going to be interesting. And then my next solo exhibition will be a week-long event in Blossom Street Gallery, where again I've exhibited over the last year, and Kim Oldfield, who runs the gallery, has been really good and really supportive, particularly for local artists, and I'm planning to have a week there with her, and hopefully that'll be the start of my career working as a felt artist.
Yay! That is just tremendous, from where you were this time last year to where you are now, and the fact that you have so stepped up in your business, and you're getting yourself out there, and you receiving that lovely feedback from people saying this is amazing artwork, and it's like, yes, it is, and people appreciate
and all I can say is right now I feel so excited, and I feel this is my moment to be brilliant, to shine, and to do what I've always wanted to do.
Yeah. Well, that is brilliant. So if people want to connect with you after this Google Hangout, where can they find you, Bridget?
Right, my website is it's www.bridgetbernadettekarn.com, and so you can contact me through that. You can contact me by my email, and that's bridget@orchardlodgeyork, that's all one word, .co.uk. I also have my studio where I live in Acaster Malvis, and if you contact me via email, I can arrange to meet up. Have a chat. That's great.
And what's your email address, Bridget?
Bridget@orchardlodgeyork.co.uk.
Oh well, you know, it's been a long day. Thank you very much, Bridget, for coming along today and sharing all of your inspiring story. And this isn't the last we've heard of Bridget. I'm sure you'll be back here in a year's time telling us about the next stage, because it's all a journey, isn't it? Nobody gets overnight success. It's something that you have to build up, and that's exactly what you're doing.
Massive learning curve.
Yeah, brilliant. Right, that's it from us here in sunny New York this afternoon. I want to thank Bridget for coming. We did have some technical difficulties, and it has meant that she's got in a car, she's driven down here, and she's really, and this is her first Google Hangout, and I think she did amazing. I'm Rachel Smith, the Business Grower. If you want to find out more about what it is that I do and how I can support you to take your passion and create it into a successful business, you can contact me via my Facebook page, which is Rachel Smith, the Business Grower. And you can also receive a free gift from me by downloading my 25 easy steps to attracting more clients into your business, which is a beautiful kind of printable report that you can download from my website, which I'll give you in a moment. And the idea with this is that you can print it off and you can take your time to work through it and use the 25 different methods in there that you could use in your business straight away without becoming an expert in anything else, and without spending any more money, that you can actually start to attract more business into you. So to download that free report, it is at www.rachelsmithlifecoach.com. Okay, that's it from Bridget and I today. Goodbye for now.
Thank you.